probably less for me than most people, right? I was already not just well known, but I was already a public figure because I was a newspaper writer. So it wasn't like a tremendous change. I just got busier. The invitations got fancier. A lot of extra work, but I think my life probably changed less than most people. Well, the title of the blog, which was also the title of a book, that's a deliberate literary allusion, because there was a famous book by Barry Goldwater, Conscience of a Conservative, so I'm deliberately invoking that. And I have a political outlook, which I don't hide, obviously. I was a deficit hawk, in someone who really worried about the budget deficit when the economy was doing well. The whole point is it depends on the situation. It's when the economy is depressed that you need the government to act as a support, but then you want to you want to try and pay down the debt during the good times. So yeah, I mean, this is there's been almost a complete reversal now, where the people who said, "Oh, we don't care about deficits, let's just cut taxes," back when we didn't need those deficits, are now the ones who claim to be all worried about the deficit. But for me, it's just the economics says that there are times when a deficit is a good thing. Not always, but sometimes. I think I've been pretty clear that that Europe has an extra difficulty in the policy. So you don't have fiscal policy is going to play a smaller role in Europe, has to, and which leaves monetary policy, which is more uncertain. There are doubts about how effective monetary policy can be, but it's all that Europe has. Yeah, the ECB has a single mandate, although if you actually listen, the ECB seems to think that it has responsibilities beyond that. It talks about trying to encourage countries to engage in structural reform. So what happened to the single mandate on inflation? It's not such a terrible thing. I mean, there's a big difference between very extreme financial repression, where savers lose 4 or 5% real on their money, which is a problem. But the idea that you have a period of somewhat low interest rates, possibly in part because of financial regulation, is not such a terrible thing. So I know Carmen Reinhart talks about financial repression, and she's right. There was a lot of financial repression in the couple of decades after World War II. Those were also decades of incredible economic growth. So you say you use the word repression, and it sounds like bad things, but those were actually very good times for the economy. So what's wrong with a little financial repression? It is genuinely uncertain. There's a fork in the road. One fork is that, and by the way, it's mostly not Spain's choice, I don't think. So one fork is that Germany and the ECB change their policies and make it possible for Spain to survive within the euro. And then it's not a quick return to prosperity, but then you have over a period of several years gradually falling unemployment, gradually improving manufactured exports. Spain gradually returns to a tolerable economic situation while staying within the euro. That's one fork. The other fork is there are no more important concessions. The next summit is, or whatever. The ECB meets on Thursday and says, our only concern is inflation. We are not going to change. We're not going to loosen monetary policy. The orthodoxy rules. Then crisis. The capital flight, run on the banks, Corralito, which I know I got everybody scared, but it's a real possibility, and Spain exits the euro, and then probably so does Italy, and probably then so does France, and there is no euro there. The euro consists of Germany and maybe the Netherlands, and that's an ugly story, because that's going to be very disruptive economically for a year or two or three. But more important, it means the failure of Europe's biggest project. And either of those is, as far as we know, is a real possibility. You can see that you can see how all of that can happen. Yeah, it's basically true. The inequality has grown so large that it's becoming very hard to move up that ladder. The United States is now at the bottom in terms of intergenerational mobility among the advanced countries. So sure, we still fantasize in America. We think of ourselves as the land of where anyone can make it, but in fact we're not. We're for the most part, we are now more of a class society than any other advanced country. Oh boy. See, I don't think either Spain or Italy did anything terribly wrong. I mean, both have big problems, but gosh, I don't even know which one I'm at.